In an era of publicity extravaganzas, it's probably the most underhyped movie in recent times. To talk about Talaash, we're joined by KAREENA, Aamir and RANI. Thank you very much for joining us in Hot Pursuit. KAREENA, why are you here? You should be just relaxing on a beach, having fun after your marriage. You shouldn't be working so hard.
I don't like the beach.
You don't like the beach? Then you should be in the mountains, enjoying the snowfall, looking out of the window. Things like that. You get the drift.
In a chiffon sari. All those plans are after.
That would be Yash Raj then, not Talaash.
After Talaash.
After
Once
Talaash.
Talaash becomes a super duper hit, then we'll send them on a lovely honeymoon. In fact, we'll join them.
Which Aamir is sponsoring.
Which I'm sponsoring.
So where is it that you want to go then for ya?
Japan.
Japan.
Tokyo.
He's promised we'll eat Japanese food tonight, but obviously it's not happening. So Japan.
Does it have the sort of snowfall? I thought you were heading more towards
But
Europe
Japan
or
has
Switzerland.
beautiful snowfall also.
Not Europe.
I mean, I love Europe, but chalo, since I want to eat Japanese,
So you
Japan.
get Japanese food and you get the snowfall. So
Exactly, it's that
sort of
combination.
fits in really well. This is a movie where Aamir is coming back to the box office after about 3 years. But to me, at least, it doesn't feel as if you've been away for 3 years. It almost seems as if you've been in the public conscious so continuously that it doesn't seem that you've been away for so long. Does it feel the same for you?
Well, yes and no, in the sense that I have been around because of Satyamev Jayate. I've been on TV. But I do miss the fact that my film hasn't come out in a while, and I'm looking forward to, visiting the theatre, because every film of mine when it releases, I go to the theatre to watch what the audience reaction is. And here is a story which is very close to my heart, Talaash. And we've been working on it for the last couple of years, and I'm extremely attached to the film, and I'm very keen to know how people react to it. So I'm looking forward to the release now.
Is there a burden of expectations? If somebody were to look at your recent film craft, you haven't delivered a flop like for the longest time. I'm not trying to jinx it, of course. I'm just saying that does it, cross your mind that how long will I keep hitting one century after the other?
Well, success is not in our hands in any case. So I try not to think about it. I do get really nervous before the release, no doubt. But for me, what is important is how has the journey been? How have we enjoyed working on the film? And what is it in my hands is the choice of films I make, and what film I decide to work on. And I do stuff that makes me happy. And then I hope it does well.
You see so many scripts, discuss so many ideas before actually picking a film. Why is it that all three of you picked Talaash?
Talaash, actually, the reason I picked it is I really like the story. When I was listening to the script, Reema was narrating it, I was very intrigued by the suspense aspect of it. And as it went along, I realized that actually I'm getting quite moved. And by the end of the film, I was in tears. And I realized that while it is a suspense film, in fact, at its heart, it's a film about coming to terms with loss. And each one of us has either lost someone who's really close to us, or in the future will lose someone who's really close to us. That's a fact of life. So this film is about that aspect, and it really touched me and moved me. So it's not only a suspense film, but it's also a very emotional story, and which is why I fell in love with it.
But at a time like this, Rani, when there's so much social media, Facebook, Twitter, and so many people out to bust the suspense, it's really difficult to keep it a secret, about who murdered, who's the killer. It's very difficult to keep that suspense.
Well, actually it is. In fact, all three of us were discussing this on the way here. That when previously when suspense films like Madhumati, Wo Kaun Thi, Teesri Manzils, Jewel Thief used to release, I think at that time those films used to do extremely well, because it used to be like a celebration. It used to be like a festival for Indian families going to watch films. It was like that one Friday that they all used to go together and watch the film. At that time, suspense would not really come out, because I don't think there was social networking site, there was no Twitter, there was no like anything to do with getting out the suspense. There was not too many media people also. So I think basically today, yes, there is a scare, because there are people who watch the film first day, first show, and immediately start tweeting and talking about the film in terms of trying to review the film while they're watching it. So in those times, I think yes, it is going to be pretty difficult.
They derive vicarious pleasure out of letting out the suspense.
I'm not sure I entirely agree with this, because just some time back there was a film that came out called Kahani, and Kahani, while it may not be a suspense film, certainly did have
no, it was a suspense.
It had a very strong twist in the end, but nobody revealed it, not the media. And no one tweeted about it. No one ever.
Yeah.
On
and
the
people
social
went.
Yeah.
Twice.
So I think people are also sensitive to the fact that here is a suspense film. Let me not spoil it for my friends. Let me keep the suspense on.
Yeah.
So they may talk about the film that they liked it or didn't like it. In fact, Kahani, if you remember, was it's a very small budget film. It went on to do great business, and that great business happened because of word of mouth.
Correct.
People liked the film,
But there's some
and they
reports
spoke about
that
it.
you
but they
delayed
didn't.
the release of this film because of Kahani and because
Totally false, totally untrue. There's no similarity at all between Kahani and Talaash, none whatsoever. That was a rumor which is not true.
पानी में रहना बहुत अच्छा लगता था उसे पानी में ही डूब कर मरना जरूरी था
कोई कब तक डूबा रहेगा साहब कभी न कभी तो तैर के ऊपर आना ही पड़ेगा
बस एक एक्सीडेंट था सूरी
वो एक्सीडेंट नहीं लापरवाही थी मेरी
मैं जानती हूँ तुम काम नहीं कर रहे हैं तुम किसी के पास जाते हो
रोशनी और मैं बहुत खुश थे
उसी रोड पे ऐसे कई एक्सीडेंट्स हुए हैं
अगर उसकी आखिर में करण से बात हुई है तो
तुम पागल हो गई रोशनी तुम्हें इलाज की जरूरत है
your character, Rani, in this film deals with infidelity. In real life, how much of concern is infidelity from a partner for you?
You know, I can't really comment on the story because
This is
we
just
cannot
from the
reveal
promos what
anything.
everybody's saying.
Yeah, but you know, promos don't always actually reveal
the plot.
The plot actually.
Suspense.
Yeah.
But let's
Suspense.
assume infidelity is there or not in the film, irrespective. What do you feel about it? Is that what your question is?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't like it. And I think I come from a very traditional thinking background. I think I have a very old soul. I think I'm an old soul, and I think I wouldn't like it at all.
You know, at a time, Kareena, when there's so many open marriages, how possessive of Saif would you be?
I'm not possessive about him at all. He's a responsible man, I hope. And he knows his
You say off with his head. Deviates from, if he goes anywhere else, completely off with his head.
No, I think I'll to become Kali.
Yeah.
I'll totally become Kali.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think I'll just get onto the bong side of mine, and yeah, I think it's not very good.
That's the end of it. Then that's the destroyer.
No, it's not the end of it. But I think when you genuinely love somebody so dearly, I think you do get angered with the fact that the person doesn't love you as much. So yes, but yeah, I don't think it will go very well with me. It will be absolutely disastrous.
How important is 100% commitment for you?
Extremely important. Extremely important.
No, because given the fact that so many people, there have been so many write-ups recently in magazines where more and more people are saying that they're in open marriages and openly admitting that they're in open marriages.
Well, I mean, for people who are comfortable,
Really? Yeah.
comfortable with that, then that's totally fine.
I think each to his own. I think people need to live their lives according to what they think is correct for them, and we are nobody to judge. But if you ask me personally about my life, I could tell you about my own life, and I would definitely judge the person who I'm going to be with, but not the world. Like people are free. It's a democratic country. You can live the life that you want to.
Are we going to see a different avatar of Kareena post-marriage? Are you going to do the same sort of roles that you've done, or will it be a very different Kareena that people will get to see? Not this movie because it was made earlier, but I'm saying going forward.
Not at all. I'm an actor, and I'll do parts that I find interesting and work with people that matter to me, or I want
Because
to
we've
work
seen
with.
with so many Bollywood heroines who after marriage decided that they didn't want to do a certain character or didn't want to be in films at all.
Yeah, but I think that's archaic, if I may say so. And hopefully we're a modern society today, and I'm modern yet traditional. I oscillate between both. So in my work, my approach is modern, and my passion is acting. I love to act, and that's my job, and I'm an actor. But what I am in my personal life is a separate part of me.
There's no change at all in terms of the roles you'll pick, what you'll depict on the large screen. No change in that.
That's Kareena the actor, so you can't really compare.
At a time when Shah Rukh's film and Salman's film have done so well, does that put more pressure on you, Aamir, to show that you're still top of the charts?
No, not at all. I think I'm really happy to know that other films are doing well, and Salman and Shah Rukh are colleagues, and I'm happy to know that whenever their film does well, it pleases me. I don't compete with others in this manner. I know it's unusual for people to hear that, and perhaps people may or may not believe me when I say this, but it really doesn't disturb me at all when people's films do well. In fact, when I see a good film, it makes me happy. It makes me happy to see good work.
Is there competition? Salman touched this much, Shah Rukh's film has touched this much.
Not for me. As far as I'm concerned, I'm hoping that what we set out to make, have we managed to make it well enough? That's my first concern. And if we feel that we've made it the way we want it, will the people like it? Will it connect with people? Will it touch people's hearts? Will it move them the way that we were moved when we read the script? That's my concern. I'm not really comparing Talaash with any other film. And I don't think it's fair to do that, because in the creative world, each film is unique. Each film has its own, its own charm.
ये बहुत ही हाई प्रोफाइल केस है, मीडिया से कोई बात नहीं करेगा।
वो अमान कपूर ऑफ हो गया।
ब्लैकमेल ज्यादा मुमकिन है, एक्सटॉर्शन का तो वो जरूर किसी ना किसी से बात करता है। लेकिन सर अगर लड़की इन्वॉल्व है तो फिर ये आपकी मदद क्यों कर रही है?
पता नहीं क्या ढूंढा और सुराग मुझे और अंधेरे की तरफ ले जाता है।
How difficult is Aamir to work with on the set?
Not at all. Not difficult at all.
Because there's so many stories about how he coaches the director on what to do and how to do it, and that it's essentially he likes working with young directors so he can essentially direct the film, and there are stories that do the rounds. Not
I think the stories are also spread by people who are not from the industry, and they are the people who watch it from the outside. What people need to know is that filmmaking is a creative field. It is a teamwork. Filmmaking is teamwork, and the entire team comes together to make a film, and each person comes with their own I would say things that they are great at, and they put that into the film. There are so many times that there's a director of photography who's the cameraman who actually will tell the director that this is the way he wants to shoot a particular scene, and the director could have thought of it entirely differently. So there is a difference of opinion on set, and if a third person is seeing this, he might think that the director and the director of photography are fighting or they're arguing, but actually it's a very creative process that is happening to just better the film. And every person on the set, whether it's an actor, whether it's a technician, I think they all come together on the same platform to make a film better.
You worked with Aamir so long back.
Right.
How has he changed or evolved in the period that you were away and now came together?
Actually, honestly, Aamir will again cringe right now, but honestly, I'm nobody to judge his work or, his journey, because I'm too small in that sense. But I think as an admirer, as an audience, I think he's grown from strength to strength. When I met him the first time, he was this huge star. He was Aamir Khan, the youth star. I was a newcomer. I looked up to him then, and I admired him even then. And when I work with him today in Talaash, I think he's a humongous star even today. I still look up to him. And what really inspires me while working with him or knowing him as a colleague or a friend, his single-minded dedication towards his craft and to his work, and the passion he has for cinema, and the passion he has for his work. And I think that drives him. That actually drives him, and that's what inspires me also as an actor.
Does he set really high expectations for others because he's got high expectations from himself, and does that at times become overbearing for the other actors in the set?
No, I think that's a compliment, because then he's working with able actors who can deliver. So it's good that he has high standards, because he is an amazing actor and an amazing mind. So it kind of works.
So how much of it is the director's direction and how much of it is Aamir Khan's direction?
It's entirely the director's direction. I'm very clear that a film is always the director's vision. And anything that we do, actors, technicians, other creative people, we are trying to help the director fulfill his or her vision. It's unlikely I'm going to choose a weak director, work for him or her, and allow her or him to take the credit away. If I want to direct a film, I'll do it myself. I don't need to shoot off somebody's shoulder.
Yeah. Given the sort of films that you've done, you built a certain image for yourself. A very serious method actor who likes to pick up roles which people believe might not necessarily work, and make it seem to the world that yes, you can pick up a tough film and yet make it work. And then you've gone and picked Dhoom 3, which is the antithesis of everything that you've done so far. So how is it that you pick out...
Delhi Belly. Have you seen Delhi Belly?
I have seen Delhi Belly. So what made you pick up an out-and-out masala entertainer?
Well, you have to realize that I'm someone who goes entirely with his gut. So
So you just got too bored of the serious stuff.
no, certainly not. I pick stuff which appeals to me on instinct, and I do not have any one particular kind of taste. I've done Gajni, I've done Fana. These are very, very mainstream films. I've done Tare Zameen Par, or I've done Rang De Basanti or Sarfarosh, which are totally unusual.
Three Idiots.
So I've done all kinds of films, and at that point of time, when I read a script or hear a script, if it excites me, moves me, touches me, I want to do it. I don't think the genre at that point.
Is Dhoom 3 much easier for you to than say a Talaash or a 3?
No film is easy. No film is easy for me.
What did you pick up from him on the set?
Not just Talaash, I think just, being a fan of Aamir, working with him in 3 Idiots, reading his interviews. I think Aamir just wants to be perfect in everything that he does. Very meticulous. He's very, very, concentrated. And I don't think I'm like that. So you tend to admire that quality about, something that you don't have. And that's what I admire about.
So does he change you or you change him?
No, neither. I think I really like the way KAREENA works. And but do you think I'm very meticulous and all that? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to be perfect in whatever you do. If you got one thing wrong, also you say nee. And I think some actors say like, "Arey, chalta hai yaar, it's okay."
No, I think for me,
He finds the magic. He's searching for the magic.
yeah, I'm not searching for perfection because I personally believe there's no such thing. I feel what I'm looking for really when I'm giving a shot is, did we get magic in the shot? Did
Right.
it
No,
happen?
not just even in
Did
the
it
shot.
happen?
I think generally in life also.
Yeah, even in life, I don't leave any stone unturned.
Yeah.
I don't tire easily. So that may look
that
like,
is, yeah.
but that's not looking for perfection because I don't think there's anything as perfection. There is nothing else.
Recently there was this very disturbing incident which happened possibly as a fallout of Satyamev Jayate, where Abdul Hakim was brutally murdered in the Badlands of Uttar Pradesh as a consequence of a part appearance in your show. Does that weigh on you when you sleep at night that somebody died as a result of Satyamev Jayate?
It is certainly an extremely disturbing thing. And in fact, since that incident has happened and since I got to know about it, it has constantly been going on in my mind that I wish we had included his story in our episode, because the episode you're talking about is on honor killings, and we had showcased a number of couples in our show. But Abdul and Mehbis, while in the research we had come across Abdul and Mehbis, and I was fully familiar with their background and I had seen their interviews, but because of time constraints we had not included their story in our episode. And since I got to know this, it's been weighing on my mind, and I've been thinking again and again, I wish I had shown their story. And maybe if we had, I don't know, if we had included their story on our show, the people who have done this may have hesitated, because it would be a little more difficult to, because it would be out in the public. It would be a little more difficult for them to take the step. So that thought keeps coming back to me. But I'd like to believe that, these things have been happening for a while now. And maybe in the future also this will happen. And that was the attempt that we made, me and my team, to try and do something to stop it. That was our attempt. Our attempt is to try and do something to stop it.
But Mehbis says that, the people who are still threatening her, they say, if we have to go to jail, why not commit a few more murders and go? And that's a life situation where you're partly, you have a responsibility to ensure her safety.
Let me ask you this question. Do you feel that I'm responsible?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying now you've got a responsibility to ensure her safety.
I think the person who has a responsibility to ensure her safety is the local police.
And they're not doing very much.
Let me just say what I'm saying. It is their job to ensure that she is safe. If anything happens to Mehbis, then certainly the police will come under scanner. Because I have spoken to a number of high officials in the police in UP, and they have assured me that they will give her security and ensure that nothing happens to her.
Because
and
of
she's
the
about
vote
to give
bank
birth to
politics involved, nobody wants to mess with vote banks, and that really jeopardizes a young girl's security. And so unfortunate.
It is, and that is why we did the show, and that is our attempt to try and bring to light these kind of things that happen. I would like to believe that what our attempt was to try and bring light and shed light on such a serious problem that we face in our society, and a lot of youngsters across the country face, was an attempt to solve the problem and not add to the problem.
Television or cinema ever be a solution to a social ill. I mean, it highlights the social ill, but in this situation, for example, a young man lost his life.
I don't think cinema, or at least I can speak on that behalf, at least I would like to say that, is a form of a social sort of message. Cinema is entertainment. For a social message or a cause, and for such a big cause that we're discussing, I think there are a lot more programs, whether it's Satyamev Jayate or whether it's, I mean, it's the responsibility of the society, our government, police. I mean, cinema is,
it can
highlight a form of entertainment, but I don't know about highlighting, because I mean, I don't know, we have people play, murderers, we have people do negative roles, which like even Aamir has done in previous films, but that doesn't represent that, that he is like that. So it shouldn't be,
absolutely, because the responsibility of the state administration and the police to ensure Mehbis's security. You can't blame a serial or something that came on TV for that. And despite the appeal she made to them, they didn't still come and secure her and her husband while he was still around. We're hoping.
In fact, in our research, when we were speaking to both of them, they had expressed these very fears to us, and this was some time back, that they were afraid for their life, and they described in great detail what their family had to go through, Abdul's family had to go through after they got married, and the kind of torture that Abdul's parents went through, and the fact that they were really afraid for their lives, and they were afraid that they would be killed, and that's exactly what happened.
I hope they at least now keep the promises that they've made to you. That's very important for Mehbis and also for this country. You can't have young people dying.
Please to do that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So all eyes on the administration in UP and in that area in particular. I want to see what happens. We all want to see what happens there.
Aamir, Rani, and Kareena, thank you very much for speaking to us on Hot Pursuit. Thank you very much.
Thank you.